In this video, we are looking at how you decide what to assess, when and how. Currently, apprenticeship standards have quite a detailed assessment plan that tells you exactly which assessment methods are used to assess which KSBs and their associated grading descriptors. Moving forward, we're going to have much more condensed assessment plans. They will have assessment outcomes. We are expecting there to be around 7 or 8 assessment outcomes per standard, and a performance level descriptor only. There'll be no grading descriptor per assessment outcome. And then within the parameters set out in that assessment plan, each endpoint assessment organisation will need to decide what content to assess, using which assessment methods, and when that assessment should take place, which is quite a big change for any EPAOs that are currently EPA only, that are not already award organisations and will therefore not have an experience of them to make these decisions. We're going to use one of the foundation assessment plans as an example. These assessment plans still refer to EPAOs, and so we're going to use that terminology in this video also. But just to remind you that moving forward, EPAOs will be referred to as either assessment organisations if it is a DSE Skills England document, and awarding organisations if it is an Ofqual document. Taking a look at the Health and Social Care Foundation Apprenticeship Assessment Plan, we can see that the plan isn't telling us when assessments need to take place. It tells us that we need to use a knowledge test and a practical assessment, but it doesn't tell us what form that knowledge test needs to be in or what form that practical assessment needs to be in. And you can see that actually it gives a lot of examples of exactly what that practical assessment could be. So as the EPAO, there's a lot of decisions there that you need to make that are very new in the world of apprenticeships that you haven't had to make on endpoint assessment. You'll need to decide which assessment outcomes to assess using a knowledge test and which to assess using a practical assessment. You'll need to decide which form or forms of practical assessment and knowledge test to use. You'll need to decide how many assessments to use for each AO, and you'll need to decide when to carry out those assessments. Now, Ofqual expect to see a really thorough and well-reasoned approach to making these decisions. So simply saying that these are the assessment methods that are used on this standard for endpoint assessment and they work well, so we're going to do the same, for example, although that might feed into your rationale on its own, would not be sufficient. So we're going to be looking at this in detail as part of our Assessment Strategies webinar series. As part of that, we'll be guiding you through how you make those decisions around what to assess, when and how you record those decisions and your rationale for those decisions in line with the G-Core. You can find details of those webinar series on our dedicated webpage, which we will drop a link for with this video.